Bismillah. I don't know who needs to hear this, but that dua that you've been making for the longest time ever is well on its way. Listen, I know you're losing patience. I've been there, and sometimes I come back to that spot where it's so hard to wait on a specific dua. Patience is probably one of the hardest virtues to practice because we are always constantly in a state of waiting for something to happen. Even if one thing has already happened, you're immediately on to the next thing in your life that you're waiting for. And what makes it even harder is that you don't know how long you're going to wait and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Maybe if you knew that you were for sure going to get this thing at this specific time, it would be easier to wait. But that's why it's so hard, because you don't know if you're going to get that thing in the first place, and you don't know when you're going to get it if you do get it. You don't even know if you're going to want it by the time you end up getting it. You know, this reminds me of the ayah from Surah Al-Kahf that says, وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرَ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ خُبَرًا. And how can you be patient with what you have no knowledge of? And this is so important to think about because we plan our lives down to the very last detail. We spend so much time planning every single aspect of our lives. We plan our career, we plan our wealth, we plan our partners, we plan our families, we plan where we're gonna live, we plan everything down to the very details. But we are not all-knowing. Not only do we not know everything about the world around us, but we also don't know everything about ourselves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you. He knows you better than you know yourself. He knows you better than your own mother and father. He will never give you something that was not better for you than what you wanted if he didn't give you what you wanted. But I want you to remember this ayah in Surah Al-Ma'arij that says فَاصْبِرْ صَبْرًا جَمِيلًا إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. So be patient with gracious patience. Indeed, they see it as distant, but we, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we see it as near. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you as clear as day in His beautiful words that your patience is seen in Allah's eyes as close to Him. Your patience is not something Allah ignores or overlooks. I promise you that sometimes we truly want things that would not be good for us if we got them. You know, one thing I like to think about is if Allah had shown us where we would be out of our own free will, from our own choices only, we would not want to be there. It is truly a form of rahmah, a form of mercy, that you don't get to choose everything, and that sometimes your choices are not what Allah chooses for you. Why? Because your choices were gonna hurt you. Your choices were gonna harm you. You did not know what was behind that door that you wanted to open so badly. You thought you knew. You were under the impression that you know all about this and that you want this specific thing. So keep making that dua with the same insistence and with the same certainty that you started with, and make sure you know that if Allah doesn't give you your choice, He will give you something that is better than your choice. So practice that beautiful patience. Don't be patient in frustration. Don't be patient as you're angry with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't be mad. Don't lose hope. Because in the end, when Allah gives you what's best for you, you want to look back and feel like your patience was beautiful.